between the ducks and the swallows. We have the grace. It had always been our message. Waves up them through the air like a rush.
Hi, my name is Bonnie Dennis, and I am the CEO and owner of Bum Productions, LLC. I first heard about Margaret Holloway in 2006 when I was in production of my first feature film, Those People. It was then I became increasingly interested in the brilliant mind of a woman that was homeless, suffered from schizophrenia, and drug addicted, quoting Shakespeare in the streets of New Haven, Connecticut. During my research, I found articles from the New York Times, the New Haven Register, the New Haven Advocate, and the Yale Herald.com, to name a few. These articles cover highlights like the film done about her, God Didn't Give Me a Week's Notice, to her many stints in jail for breach of peace, to trespassing, and noting the frustrating mishandling of the mentally ill. After my research, a team of producers and I went to look for her. Several empty attempts led us to one of her closest friends and confidants, who accompanied me to pick her up after she was being released from Niantic Women's Correctional Facility in Connecticut in 2006.
How long you been out on the streets, Margaret?
I've been homeless off and on since March of '83.
This is the first time Margaret opens up to us about her many stints in prison and so much more.
Or why did they arrest you?
Trespassing the housing authority.
Wow.
I didn't have no ID.
Unfortunately, on that fateful day, Margaret, who suffers from a rare form of schizophrenia, would return to her drug-addicted world on the streets, which further exacerbated her condition. This day would be the last time I would see her for several years, and the beginning of rewriting the screenplay, Pretty Like Me. Like Margaret, I too became addicted to prescription drugs. I was taking high dosages of Wellbutrin, Prozac, Ambien, and sleeping pills. I was in a zombie-like state for 4 years. It took a lot of hard work, but I got my life back. It would be 9 years since I'd seen Margaret Holloway, and many rewrites of the screenplay Pretty Like Me, but I knew I needed to pay homage to my muse. My production team got together to see if she would talk to us about her journey. We weren't sure about what to expect, but we were glad to find a more healthier and sober Margaret.
She's on time. Ah! How are you?
The case manager here. I had one of you to meet the case manager.
How are you, honey?
Hi, honey.
Good to see you, baby.
How you doing?
She was equally excited about seeing us. She even introduced us to her boyfriend, Manuel.
Hi. Oh, wow. You're Manuel?
Yeah.
Well, nice to meet you.
You're Bonnie.
I'm Bonnie. Nice to meet you, Manuel. And I'm Avis.
Very
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. And this is Derek.
Good?
Yeah.
It wasn't long before she opened up to us about her present condition.
How you been feeling?
I sleep too much, but I persevere though.
Is that because you take other medication?
I suffer from depression,
Yeah.
like really grave depression sometimes.
Yeah. And the medication?
But I but also all the medication that I take makes you sleep too.
Yeah.
All of it.
Sure. Well, you look quite vibrant, so. I would, yeah, you do.
She was as candid as ever of her present state of mind, the current drugs she's on, the side effects and personal demons she still has to deal with and or manage.
And I take a pill to drown out visions when it's time for me to go to sleep. Trazodone, it's called. It's a heavy duty drug too.
Now, what visions
It goes
do you
to
get?
green right over there.
Oh, great. Now, what visions do you get?
Oh, I see all kind of my mother. I hear my mother saying licentious things to me on the CD player. I feel things having sex with me from like out of space, all kinds of stuff. It's a horrific disease.
The days of her quoting Shakespeare for money aren't far behind her, but she is still ever the town celebrity.
This is the sheriff and the head state marshal of all the state marshals all over the state. His father was the sheriff of New Haven County, just like he is, and he always gives me something.
What about my kids? What about my kids?
Your kids too. I told
He knows
your
my
nephew.
kids.
I told your nephew Richard Pryor jokes.
There were times we weren't sure about the accuracy of what she was saying, but it didn't matter. My friend let us in. We were listening to her anguish as well as watching her talent.
Want me to do a little Middle English while I'm sitting here?
Sure.
For anyone who doesn't know what Middle English is, Middle English is the language that was spoken in the 14th century Europe. There was Latin, then there was Old English, which is what Beowulf is, Old English. Then there was Middle English, then there was Shakespearean diction, then there was the concoction of what we speak today. And during that period of the 14th century, Geoffrey Chaucer wrote the Canterbury Tales.
It was good to hear how the play Hamlet had inspired her.
Hamlet is about the Prince of Denmark. He's a young man away at school. I would say he's about 25 years old. And he gets a letter from his mother, the Queen Gertrude of Denmark, saying that his father has passed away. Him being a prince, he doesn't gush tears. He stays away, finishes studying. Then he goes home and expects to have a stately mourning period with his mother. But instead, when he gets home, he finds out that his mother and his uncle, who is his late father's brother, have married, taken over the throne, and murdered his father. So there's incest there. When my mother came up here, and for no apparent reason, she just undid her pants and grabbed my head and rubbed my face and her vagina, and then she emptied her food over in the shower with me. Doctors say they never heard of anything like that before. My father's a minister. He never said more than maybe 25 words to me, ever. But they were some serious words.
Of course, Margaret shared with us some of her fellow now famous alumni from the Yale School of Drama.
I went to school with Rita Hayworth's daughter, Yasmin Aga Khan. I knew Meryl Streep the first time I went to Yale. Henry Winkler was a couple years older. Tony, you know who Tony Shalhoub is? He's the one who plays Monk. I directed him in Hamlet at Yale Rep the year after I graduated from Yale as a director. Tony Shalhoub.
After 9 years, I enjoy spending time with my muse and friend, Margaret Holloway.
After you do this, you gotta do my life story.
Yeah.
Oh, that this too sullied flush would melt for and resolve that into a you or that the everlasting had not fixed his Canaan gangster to laughter, thigh. 'Tis an unweeded gardener grows the seed, beings rank and gross in nature possess it merely, that it should come to this. Heaven and earth must I remember, Nay, not much dead. So egg the king that was this Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother, that he might have redeemed the winds of heaven, visit her face roughly. It is not, nor it can come too good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue. No, madam, I'm too much in the sun. Seems, madam, I, no, not seems. To be or not to be, that is the question.